Hey guys, it's Fayon here, back with the final episode, part 3 of opening the lateral line of the body. I have 2 previous episodes on this topic. Please go and check them out if you haven't watched them before. In part 1, I go through how to understand segmentally how to open up the lateral aspect of the body. That's this side bending motion. And in part 2, I go through some of my favorite global stretches in how to really open up this side, which is really tight and restricted for a lot of people. In part 3 today, I'm going to put this together into a powerful elastic coordination that you guys can participate and experience. And that's going to take a bit of the parts from part 1 and part 2 and put them all together. So we're going to go through the body, divide it up segmentally, and understand how each segment can contribute to the entire structure into yielding elastic force. So I really enjoy this arm swing, and I know you guys are going to enjoy that too. Feels fantastic. Without any further ado, let's get started. So I'm going to be showing you guys the segmented frontal plane arm swing. Sounds like a mouthful, but I'm going to talk you through it. So frontal plane, meaning this plane of the body, if I was to turn to the side, we're going along this in front of the body here with this arm swing. I'm performing it now, just like this. And then this is quite relaxed, but when I start dialing it up, see this arm swing, you can really start putting some power through this. I call it segmented because we're going to go through various segments, being from the shoulder, the ribs, the abdomen, the hips, and then finally knees and ankles, putting it all together to understand how we can split and perform this arm swing either from the shoulder, just from the shoulder like this, to then a whole body experience where we're really using our whole body to generate full power through this frontal plane arm swing. So when I say frontal plane, it means that as I'm performing it, it's going strictly within this plane. We're not going like this and rotating or anything. We're just trying to understand the body in this experience through this strict frontal plane for the purposes of this exercise in this series, which is opening the lateral line of the body, which is going to be through this frontal plane, or the frontal plane is going to help you access more these lateral aspects and concentrate on these lateral aspects of the structure. So it is an elastic based arm swing. So what that means is we can start here with the shoulder only. So this is the least complex because we're not focusing on the rest of the chain. We're just going from the pivot of the shoulder only. What I want you to do is reach up overhead. And as you reach up overhead here, you probably feel there's like something that kind of wants to rebound you down, so especially if you go up like this. It doesn't want to stay there. That's the elastic sensation that we are searching for here, which allows you to perform this arm swing for a long period of time. If it was more really muscular tension based and I was really trying to jam it like this, I would get tired quite easily. But based on more the shortening cycle and the elastic stretch sensation through the structure, I can start performing this sort of elastic swing for like a very, very long time. So with starting with the shoulder, what I want you to do is reach up. And so this is the apex of the arm swing. And then when you come down and reach across, this is the apex on the other side. So you can feel if you reach across here, there's probably like an elastic stretch across the body, which wants you to come down. And so I normally like to spread my fingers with this one, because this, again, if you feel like you stretch your fingers, there's like this elasticity of all the tissues that want to rebound you back to here, right? And we can use this to start linking through to this elastic sensation. So you can start from here, and then what I'm going to do without trying to contribute anything else through the chain, just from the shoulder only, is perform this arm swing where I'm reaching up here and then coming through and then rebounding and then coming up. And what I'm trying to also search for is that it is a nice even rhythm and frequency going from top to bottom. So I'm not suddenly rushing down and then it's slow up, or fast down like this way and then slow down this way. They're both rebounding at the same speed, coming either from this way and then coming from up to down from over here. So what I'm doing here is, because I'm restricting it from the shoulder, I want you to put your hand on your ribs here to notice, is there any movement coming from the ribs? So we don't want when you're starting to really side bend yet, because we're restricting it to the shoulder, but just going to perform this swing where it's only being generated from the shoulder complex. You can notice everything else here is fixed. So that's the shoulder initiated elastic arm swing. Now we're going to go through the next segment, which are the ribs. So you can keep your hand on the ribs here, and what I want you to do is when you reach up here, now allow your ribs to contribute. So this means that rib tilt that we were practicing in part 1, you can start to open up your ribs, but I want you to keep everything below your ribs fixed, so your abdomen fixed here. So this will be open, and then as you come through, there's that side crunch where it closes. So it's very subtle, but if you keep your hands on your ribs, you'll be able to feel this. And then if I was to let go, there's a little bit more power now through my arm swing, because I have a bit more contributing to the chain. Not just the shoulder, but the ribs now. So now we've learned, okay, I can actually perform an arm swing in different ways. I can just do it very restricted in the shoulder, or I can start opening up my ribs and allowing that to help generate power. Moving down on the chain again, we can now use the abdomen. So before we were keeping the ribs below that, like the lower spine and the abdomen fixed. Now we want to start using this, but we keep the hips fixed. So you can place your hand on top of your abdomen, and then when you open, it'll be you open your ribs and then your lower spine as well. Just from here, there's just a little bit more that you can get. And so that's the same when you come through here, there's a little bit more you can get. So now my hips are fixed, but then I'm allowing my abs to side crunch. You can feel it in my obliques as well, to help contribute into this elastic rhythm with the arm swing. Removing the hand, you can see here, they're all just very subtle shifts, but internally with your experience you'll be able to feel a lot more power generation through the arm swing, as opposed to the stage before where we were just incorporating the ribs and the shoulder. So that's incorporating the abdomen and allowing now this spine above the hips to contribute. Now, the biggest step up that you'll probably feel, which is what most people will rush to do if you're going to do this sort of arm swing, is start doing a horizontal translation of the hips to really swing and put your hips into it. So with this, we're going to allow our hips now to contribute, but then we keep our knees and our ankles relatively quiet. They are going to move a little bit because the hips are a powerful generator, but we're going to try and keep them quiet. So I'm now going to think of my hips really going from this direction to this direction, which is going to put a lot of power into this arm swing. So it's going to look like this. And you can see my hips are rocking side to side, really reaching up and then reaching across. And this is where you have to start being aware of where your arm swing could start going a bit wild, you know, because if you don't have sort of good body awareness, you haven't done this before, you might not be aware that you start introducing a pattern where your hips aren't swinging from side to side, but maybe there's a little bit of rotation, and then that's causing you to swing from outside of this frontal plane. So once again, going across. And that's what it's looking like where I'm putting my hips into it. But even though I'm putting my hips into it, I'm still being aware of everything contributing up the chain as well. So I'm not forgetting, okay, like I remember there was a lot of power even from just the shoulders. Then with the ribs, there was a little bit more power, and then the abs. And so it's not just going to be completely hip dominated. I'm going to still try and stretch and reach up and lengthen all the way through here, and then compress and then lengthen all the way through the rest of the segments above the hips. Finally, we can put that all together as a whole body, so incorporating the knees and the ankles, and then with this there might be a lifting of the ankles and then a softening of the knees like this. And so this is something which is a little bit hard for people to get sometimes, to really do this bouncing motion with the legs and the bending of the knees. Putting it into the arm swing, it's going to look like this. I'm going to raise my ankle here, I sweep down, and then this ankle comes up, and then whenever this arm comes down here, this is where you soften your knees and then you spring up and extend through the entire structure. So see, I come down, bend through the knees and come up. So and now it's full power through this arm swing, checking in on the shoulder, the ribs, the abs, the hips, and then also the knees and the ankles. Woo. And this is where we're really starting to connect with this elasticity-based system. Otherwise, you can get tired very, very quick through the muscles. But using this bounce and trying to recycle energy, where I wind up energy and then I'll let it go, and I'll wind up energy and I'll let it go, I can perform this even whilst presenting to you guys and hold the same rhythm. Woo! It's a nice opener throughout my whole chain and even through your shoulders as well. So that is the segmented frontal plane elastic arm swing. I like to run it through where you keep it less complex, so you're starting off with just the shoulder at first, then starting to introduce complexity by introducing different elements as you work down the chain until you end up into that full global coordination with your knees and your ankles. If you get stuck, you can always wind back and just be like, okay, I'm just going to go back to shoulder only or ribs only. Go back one step before incorporating like the next step, such as the hips. And anytime where you might be feeling, okay, like my biceps really sore, or there's like this muscle fatigue and there's a little bit more of this stiffness rather than this elastic sort of rebound, then probably that's a cue for you to take a video, have a look at yourself, try and identify what's really happening here, can I be a little bit more loose with the action and then wind it back again, try and search for that elastic sensation. This is, for many people, quite a new sensation to tap into, but it can yield many, many benefits. So that's the elastic arm swing in the frontal plane. That is the conclusion of the 3-part series, opening and understanding how to access the lateral line of the body. I hope you guys enjoyed that one and got a lot out from that one. If you have any questions, please hit me up in the comments box below and I'll be happy to help you out. Otherwise, if you are interested in finding out more about my approach to movement and learning from me, please head over to the website. That's at www.thepassivehang.com. And also subscribe to this channel. I'd love to share more content, more ideas with you guys. I'd love to. I am going to share a lot more content and ideas with you guys, so please hit the subscribe button and there'll be more videos coming out soon. All right, well, that's a wrap. I'll see you guys in the next video.